Hi guys, welcome back to another weekly video. Kayong here from Alpha Play, Chief Currency Strategist. For those who are new, I would like to welcome you again and would like to share with you that on a weekly basis what we do over here is that we're going to share with you some of the economic events to take note of, and we're also going to share with you some of the potential setups going into next week. Alright, and for those who have been following us for some time, we really appreciate your support. And good news to you guys is that moving on from this week onwards, we'll share with you more actionable setups so that if you see that those follow your trade plan as well, you'll be able to take those trades accordingly and together with us. Right, so let's jump into the market for next week. Basic summary from last week was that, US election, so we weren't actively trading the market as well, but simply monitoring on the sideline. Alright, and if you still do not know, alright, basically Trump was selected, right, was elected to run for the 45th US president. Alright, so there are some movement in the market, and such. But basically, going into next week, alright, fundamental economic wise, we do have some important data. Right, starting on from Tuesday, the first piece of important information is from the New Zealand retail sites. You can see that expectation coming in is 0.8, way below the previous data of 2.3. Right, and if you missed out last week, BNZ rate decision, basically they decided to cut 25 basis point from 2% interest rate to 1.75. Right, and the overall tone from the RBNZ was pretty dovish as well. So if this data coming in negative or missing this estimate, right, towards the lower side, we might see the selling pressure being continued on the Kiwi itself. Right, moving on from Tuesday, alright, we do have the UK CPI coming in as well. You can see the estimates is projected to come in at 1.1 versus the previous data at 1. Right, overall, if we can see some positive economic data from UK, the strength on the rally recent move, alright, on pound will be supported. Alright, and of course this is also supported from the sentiment side with the parliament, with the ruling court case that has recently happened. Next is that on the same day, alright, basically Tuesday during the US session, we do have the US core retail sales coming in expected similar to the previous data. Alright, with the recent US election, we believe that this fundamental economic data from the US side might not move the US dollar much, right? But take note on some of the new policies or announcement that Donald Trump might announce, alright, because that's gonna be the focus more than the economic data from US itself. On Wednesday itself, we do have the UK average earning index followed by Clement count change. Both you can see is being estimates to come in slightly better than previous as well. So our sentiment remains the same. If this data coming in positive, we might see the pound continue to rally higher. Alright, as for next week itself, Thursday, we do have New Zealand as well as Aussie. Alright, Aussie labour market. You can see that the expectation coming in for employment change is significantly better. Alright, but unemployment rate is expected to increase by 0.1%. Alright, if there's a miss over here, we might see the Aussie selling off as well. Basically, if you're very new to trading news, we would advise you to just avoid trading the Aussie labour market. Alright, because it's really tricky, simply put, because of this employment change, alright, though it's a significant increase, this includes part-time. Alright, so it's a combination of both part-time and full-time employment, so it becomes very tricky to trade this data. So best is just to avoid it. Alright, in the same day itself, later part in the US session, we do have the US core CPI. Again, as what we shared earlier, for next week itself, I believe most of the focus will not be on US data, but it's still gonna be on the limelight is still gonna be on Donald Trump. Alright, look out for any policies that he's gonna share and introduce, and whether there's any change in his decision or announcement. Alright, and later part on the week itself, to end off on Friday, we do have ECB President Draghi speaking, as well as later part in the session, we do have the Canadian core CPI. Right, so relatively you can see it's not a very active week, but we do have some major news to take note of as well. Right, so the focus for next week is going to be Kiwi, Aussie, and Pound. Right, so having said that, let's move into the chart. I'll spend some time to walk you through and also show you what are some of the new analysis that we decided to include so that you can use this analysis to your favor as well, and to make it slightly more actionable, all right, in terms of potential setups that you can take. All right, so start off with dollar index. All right, what we are seeing over here is on the daily time frame. All right, we can see that the dollar index is no doubt rallying, right? But we do see that when it reaches around the 99.6 or 100 level, right, there's a high probability that it's gonna turn. Right, and of course, building on with the fundamental aspect of this is that there's a chance. I wouldn't say there's a chance, but our belief or our expectation is there won't be any rate hike in 2016, and we might see a sell-off because of that. Alright, so what we are looking out for is if price rally towards the 99 or even 101 level, we might potentially look for a sell-off in the dollar itself. Alright, moving on into euro dollar. Alright, because of that dollar sell-off, in terms of euro dollar, alright, let me drop to the 4-hour time frame. We are seeing, 1-hour time frame. Alright, we are seeing a divergence happening over here. Right, so what is implying is that with this divergence potentially setting up, we are expecting price to hit higher. Alright, from here, at least a retracement before a next down move towards 1.07. Alright, so look out for this next week. If price break out of this structures formation, alright, we might potentially see price reaching at least towards the 1.1065. Alright, so that's a potential buy setup if price decide to break out of this structure area. Alright, for pound dollar, okay, we are looking at H4 time frame. We do have this setup going in. Alright, we do expect pound to continue rallying. Of course, this depends on next week news as well. Alright, but once it reaches higher, we'll be looking for sell setups around this 1.28. Alright, so from here towards 1.28, we do have some minor opportunity to look for some long setups going in, alright, but personally I won't be actively looking for long, but should price comes up towards the 1.28 area, I'll be aggressively looking for a short opportunity going down. Right, next up, let's look at dollar yen. Right, on the H1 time frame, dollar yen, we expect that there's still some up move to go. Alright, you can see that this structure is developing. Alright, we do expect it to drop slightly towards the 105.90 before a rally to break above 107.5. Alright, so look out for this. Next week, if we further retrace, we might look for a buy opportunity around the 105.9. Right, targeting up to 107.5. Right, that's about 150 pips, pretty decent. Right, so the trade plan over here is to look for short-term buy, targeting up to 107.5. Alright, on Aussie, let me go over to the daily time frame. Alright, this one we sold the Aussie on Thursday. Alright, two positions somewhere around 775 and another one slightly lower. Alright, we added in, scaled in into our profitable position. Alright, this trade that we are holding on, I'm going to target for a long-term position all the way back down to 0.7090. Alright, this is on a daily time frame, so this is slightly longer term perspective. Right, so the trade plan here is if you see any pullback, alright, our bias is towards the downside. Alright, targeting at least breaking this previous low up to 0.790. Right, only then after that we might, depending on how price react and respond over here, alright, then we might look for a potential buy. But as of now, we are looking for sell. So any potential setups that you see on Aussie dollar, you can look out for a sell opportunity. For Kiwi dollar, alright, this is interesting because coupling with the recent rate cut and the overall tone for RBNZ being dovish, right, it adds on with technical wise as well. Right, so we have a confluence of not only the fundamental, right, we do have it from a technical perspective as well. Right, so right now we are expecting price. You can see that the last 3 days of last week was a huge sell-off. We do expect price to continue selling off towards at least 0.6950. Alright, and We do have a small position over here as well, as of last Thursday again, right? It's a breakout trade that we took. So if you are looking for opportunity, right, you can actually go down to lower time frame. If there's any pullback, you can look out for a sell, targeting towards 0.6950. Right, that's still a huge amount of movement. All right, that's close to about 150 pips as well. You can aim for that. Alright, other than that, let me go through the gold market as well. Alright, gold will be on a daily perspective. Alright, you can see that there's a huge sell-off as of last week. Alright, with Trump winning the election, gold was selling off. Right now, we are looking for price to test the low at 1211. Alright, once it tests there, we might look for a potential buy setup around this 1211 area. Right, and potentially aim up to the recent high, right, the past high over here, the previous high of 1370. Right, so it's a potential buy setup on gold. Okay, but of course, always look out for a reason to enter a trade, because this is on a daily time frame, and it might take some time before it moves. Alright, so again, you need to trade according to plan. All this analysis that we share with you are just our own insights and potential setup. Right, it's not a guaranteed trade. The last one I'm going to share with you in this video is the oil market. Alright, again on a daily time frame. Alright, we do expect this oil price to continue falling towards the 38.85 area, right, before a rally back up towards 1558. Right, so the plan for next week will be to look out for potential sell setup. Right, you can go over to the 4-hour time frame. What we are expecting is we want to see another rally back up. Alright, breaking this previous high of 45.90, and then we look for a sell opportunity about the 46.55. Alright, anything above the 45.90. Alright, we'll be looking out for opportunity to sell the market for oil, targeting towards 38.85. Alright, and then only then we'll look out for an opportunity to buy the oil market. Alright, so that's it for this week video. Alright, there's a slight change in how we are forecasting and analyzing the market. Alright, hopefully this becomes slightly more actionable for you guys. Alright, to also share with you more in depth into our inner circle analysis. Alright, what we do for ourselves, and if you have any questions or feedback for us, feel free to drop them under the comment section below. Alright, and I'll reply to your questions or comments accordingly. Right, other than that, once again, always follow your trade plan and manage your risk, and I'll talk to you in the next video.